Hi all, today we are going to discuss about GST background and genesis of GST in India. GST background. The goods and service tax is a significant reform in India implemented on July 1st, 2017. It replaced a complex web of indirect taxes such as VAT, service tax, excise duty, and others. With a unified tax structure, GST is a tax. It is collected at the point of consumption rather than production. This system streamlines the tax structure, reduces cascading taxes, and brings transparency and efficiency to the economy. Key features of GST: multi-stage taxation. GST is levied at every stage of supply chain, from the manufacturer to the consumer. Each stage, consumer can claim input tax credit for the tax paid in the previous stage, ensuring that the tax burden is the only on the final consumer. Dual GST structure in India. GST is divided into three categories: central GST, that is collected by the central government on intra-state sales; state GST, collected by state governments on intra-state sales; integrated GST, collected by the central government or on interstate sales. Tax slabs. GST is levied in multiple tax slabs: 0%, 15%, 12%, 18%, and 28%, depending on the types of goods and services. Essential items or exempt from the payment of GSTs. The next one is technology driven compliance. GST relies heavily on technology for compliance, with the business required to file regular returns through the GST network, GSTN portal. This has increased transparency and reduced tax evasion. Impact on businesses and consumers. For businesses, GST has simplified the tax system, reduced the tax burden, and made it easier to do business across state lines. For consumers, GST has led to uniform prices for goods and services across the country, though the tax rates have impacted prices of certain items. Next one is the genesis of GST in India. Early beginnings, need for reform. 1991 economic liberalization. India's economic liberalization in 1991 marked the beginning of significant reforms aiming to move the economy from a closed, controlled system to a more market-oriented one. The indirect tax system in India, which included a variety of taxes like excise duty, service tax, and state-level taxes such as sales tax and VAT, as complex and deceptive tax calculating where taxes are levied on top of other taxes. Early discussion on GST. In the late 1990s, a part of tax reform discussions, policymakers recognized the need for a comprehensive indirect tax system that would replace the existing fragmented structure. The ideas of GST was first mooted in 2000 by the Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who set up a empowered committee of state finance ministers headed by Azam Das Gupta to design the GST for its implementation. Next one is Empowered Committee's role. The Empowered Committee worked extensively on developing the framework for GST. The commitment's recommendations formed the basis for eventual structure of the tax. The committee faced challenges, including concerns from states about revenue losses due to the transition to GST. Constitutional amendments. To implement GST, a constitutional amendment was necessary because the existing constitution did not grant the central and state government the concurrent power to levy a tax on supply of goods and service taxes. The first draft of constitutional amendment bill was introduced in 2011 during the parliament, but it faced resistance and was eventually withdrawn for further consultations. Final push and implementation on 2014 to 2017 political consensus and legislative process. After the 2014 general election, the newly elected NDA government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave a renewed push to the GST referent. The Constitution Act 2016 was passed in Parliament with broad political consensus, paving the way for introduction of GST. The GST Council was established to finalize the tax rates, exemptions, and other key aspects of new tax regime. Finally, GST was officially launched midnight on July 1st, 2017 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Pranab Mukherjee in a historic ceremony at the Central Hall of the Parliament. Post-implementation adjustments. The initial month was they faces various challenges, including technical issues with the GST and portal compliance difficulties for small businesses, and the need for adjustment in tax rates. The GST Council has since made numerous revisions to address the challenges, including rate reduction, simplification of filing procedures, and providing relief to small businesses. Finally, the genesis of GST in India um, is a testament to the country's ability to undertake complex reforms through consensus building and gradual evolution. The transition to GST has been a significant step forward, creating a more integrated and efficient tax system, aligning India with the global practice.